Hello everybody! So, that was really enthusiastic. I will be showing you how to set up a tank in roughly a budget way. So everyone's on about, you want to set up a tank, what's the cheapest way I can do that? You see the aquascapers and all the professionals in the hobby spending an ungodly amount on their tanks. So that's what we will be doing. Down here I have some lovely river stones, some gravel that I'm currently dropping everywhere, sand, and some of our special NutriBase. Obviously, you guys don't need to be spending this much to do it. So if you were to have just a bag of, I can get it up, aquarium sand, this was about £20, about 19 something, and that will fill up this whole base. So this is a 64 litre tank, and we're going to start off with the substrate. I have some very cheap hardscape. It's literally pets at home, £7 each. It's very affordable. You can also find your hardscape. So I have this glorious piece of wood that I found that's a fancy crucifix or a demented unicorn, however you'd like to see it. But let's get started with the substrate. Move the bags out of my way. So I've got 2 tanks to fill up. We're doing the 64 today. Hopefully half a bag of NutriBase will do both of them. If not, we can order another one or just use sand. So let's see how this goes. I'm sorry my camera angle is not the best. This tank is squeezed into a corner and I don't have very many options, so we're going for it. So let's see if I can show you guys. This is what it looks like. It's like, I don't really know what it is, but it is nutrient rich. I saw this kind of style where you mix the NutriBase in with some gravel to kind of, I think it like helps aeration for it, and do fish tanks. So yeah, I saw it on MD Fish Tanks, and hopefully he's right and onto something. So let's add like, I don't know, half a bag or something. Oh, there's a lot more in here than I thought. Is that about half? Not even. So this bag looks like it has gravel mixed in with it. So that isn't bad at all. I think I need to move my heater up a bit. So this is going to be a tropical fish tank for, what the fuck? Excuse my language, but this is not sticking because fish tanks. So this is going to hopefully have some chili rasboras and some chili clownfish in it. So hopefully that all goes as planned. Trying to see how much of the base this will cover, which is a surprising amount. You kind of want to like layer it up at the back for when you want your plants to be. So depending on the scape style you are after. Hold on, let me see if I can get this to actually stick, because shitty suction cups. There you go. You have the heater. Some of them need to be straight, some need to be slanted. So do whichever works for your tank. Here we have some gravel that I am once again chucking everywhere. So this should hopefully make the NutriBase fill the tank up a bit more, add that extra aeration, and yeah, I'm still chucking it all over my floor, but yeah, I can pick it up. This should help the plants get buried in a bit more. What I've also got down here is some pond soil. Got this very cheap off Amazon. It was like a tenner, I think. So this is going to add some extra nutrients. You're going to want it. You're not going to want very much of it, just a sprinkling on the top. And you will want it fully capped. Otherwise, you're going to cause some, how is my niff-naff? I've lost my, next thing. Yeah, so you'll want it fully capped or it can cause algae blooms, murky water, it's ideal for ponds. So you're just going to want a little sprinkling. That might be more than I need. Let me mix it in and see how it goes. You don't have to mix this in the tank if you don't want to, because it can scratch the glass. So just keep that in mind. So I kind of want to add more gravel into it just so it's spread out a bit further. Grabbing a couple of handfuls, packing it all over the place. Because why do things neatly when you don't have to? So yeah, that's spread out. See, with a tank, it's completely your choice how you do this. But most people, especially aquascapers, they'll want this little slant going up to add some depth. Again, it's entirely up to you. You don't have to be doing it. You don't have to be using all of this stuff. In my other tank, so the one that is behind you, I did accidentally switch off of the camera while I was trying to show you the other tank, so I'm hoping that it will let me stitch them together on YouTube. I've never posted before, we'll see how it goes. This is my other tank. If you see at the bottom, I've just got flavostratum, which is this stuff. Well, it's stuck in my bin currently, but there you are. That's what I've got in that tank. And I think it took 2 bags to cover, well, a long version of that tank. Go. So now, watch me not be able to prop this back up how I had it. That works. Okay, we're doing it. So, let's just move my soil out the way. What the hell is that? Here's my other stuff. And let's crack into the sand. Hopefully I've not got too much gravel in there to affect anything. I can't imagine having too much gravel would affect anything, since you can have gravel only tanks. So I've cut into my sand, raked it down the side, fingers crossed that doesn't go everywhere. But again, you just want to kind of sprinkle it over, cover everything. Oh wow, that is dusty. I've never used sand in a tank before. I know you should probably wash sand first to get rid of all the dust, because the whole room is like dusty right now. Which, honestly, it will settle down. There's nothing necessarily wrong with that. It looks gorgeous. Well, you're not breathing in the dust. I don't really know how to, like, clean dust in an apartment, but just kind of get that depth where you want it. Ideally, you want to add it from the front back, ideally. I didn't do that. But what that will do is prevent anything you've got at the back sliding forwards. So, sorry, I hope you're enjoying looking at my stomach, but I don't really know how to angle this. So, yeah, as you can see, we've got the nice depth going back. Hopefully that'll work. So, that's the substrate done. I may need to alter it and whatnot. Now we have our bag of river rocks. So you don't have to use river rocks, you can do whatever style you want. I'm choosing to use rocks since, I don't know, I like the way wood looks when it's balanced on rocks. Something about it looks just more natural to me. These rocks have been washed first, since they're not aquatic rocks, although they are sold as safe for aquariums. So that's another thing I wanted to talk about, was you go to fish shops, and obviously pet fish, not eating fish, and the hardscape is expensive, especially with rocks. So this gravel and the river stones that I've gotten, I got them for B&M. From B&M, they were about, not £10 each, one of them was £10, the other was like £8. And I got 10 kg for 18 quid, which you'd get 8 kg for the same price in a pet shop. Which obviously, if you don't know what you're looking for and you don't know like what rocks are safe, you can do the vinegar test to see. If it bubbles, it means it will mess with your hardness and your pH. And obviously, if you've got soft water fish, you don't want that. For some of them, like the smaller cichlid species, they will be perfectly fine since they need harder water anyway. So hopefully that. There are some other rocks, like, I don't know my names of rocks very well. It begins with S, Sokaru. I can't remember off the top of my head. I do have one though in my other tank. If it stopped recording again for some reason, I don't know why. So it's very hot. But this is the rock that I have. It is known to raise the hardness. For things like guppies, it's fine to do. With the better fish, it's not. For reference, I do not recommend stocking better fish and guppies together. My hardness and all that happens to be in the middle range of them, and I was getting one or the other, and it worked. She's from an overstocked sorority anyway, so she's fine with the guppies. It works. Hopefully my thing doesn't stop recording again, because I've got no idea if I can stitch these together. I probably can. Probably overthinking life, but here we are. Can you freaking balance, please? There you are. So now I've got the rocks in. It's there. Let's see if we can get some hardscape in there. But yeah, so usually if the vinegar doesn't, what's the word, fizz up, then it should be safe unless, well, that rock it still affects. Not massively though. It's the difference between high minerals and low minerals. I'm wondering where my other piece of wood went. I have these really nicely together. I might remove the back two rocks. Obviously, when you're scaping, just play around with it. Find what you like, find what works. So if I have it coming off and outwards maybe, it's a little hide under there for the rasboras. And it should kind of just, I don't know, work. So if you kind of stack it up, have fun with it. I'll probably end up rescaping this anyway, but this isn't about making it look necessarily pretty, it's just showing you what you can do to make it work. So this is not the most budget friendly that I've done, but it is pretty, it's pretty cheap to do. So if you only have the sand, then that's about £19. The rocks, £30. Wood, 7, 14, about 24. So that's £54 for the scape. And then the, I'm sorry, let me just bury that rock. The heater came to about another 15. So what was that, £65? And then the tank, obviously it depends where you get it from. Again, this is a 65 litre. You probably won't need this much if you've got a smaller tank, but it's still affordable way. It's a lot cheaper than pet shops. Remember, you can find wood to use in tanks, but there are things you've got to be aware of. So driftwood, yeah, it's safe for tanks. However, so I'm finding rocks everywhere. However, it's soft, so it can rot and fall apart and basically disintegrate in the tank. Obviously, you don't want that. The most I think it would do is cause an ammonia spike. So you can just do water changes to get rid of it. It's not the end of the world. But it's something to just consider. Apparently pine wood isn't something you should be using. I'm not an expert on finding wood, but I have found some. So I've got another tank to scape. So I've found all of this wood. I have found this ginormous piece. It's great. So do you find wood? Make sure you sterilize it. So that can be baking it in the oven at the lowest temperature for a few hours. You can boil them in the pan for a couple of hours, and you can pour about 3 kettlefuls or saucepansfuls of water all over them just to make sure that anything nasty on there is no longer there. Apparently you can use tannins as well, but I don't know how long that would take. But this is what we've got so far for our tank. I've got it sloped backwards, which you can see down there. The scape, ignore that, it does not look very pretty right now, but this is just kind of telling you this is how to do it. Also, remember, when you are setting your tank up, cycle it. It takes 6 to 8 weeks. You can add beneficial bacteria to help it, or you can use established media, so like my filter there, I could get that and squeeze it into here. Also, remember, temperature, and pH levels. So let's say you've got a tank that's got a really high pH. You wouldn't want to put something like, I don't know, a type of reservoir that needs below 6 or something, or a wild betta fish that needs, again, 6 below. So just keep that in mind. There are things you can do to change your pH, although I don't like to use them because I find it makes your tank that bit more unstable. But I can always talk about that in another video if this one goes successfully. If this fails, I've got another tank to try this with. But best of luck to you all, and I hope your tanks goes well. I really hope you've learned a thing or two, and catch you in the next one.